YouTube, the final frontier. These are the live streams of the channel Captain McKay Random. Its continuing mission? To explore strange new action figures, to seek out new hobbies and new conversations, to boldly stream where no one has streamed before.
It looks like it's about that time, doesn't it? Vader time, that is. Here we are. Wednesday, yet another fantastic edition of the Captain's Log. Thank you so much once again for joining us. We've already got people in the chat. Let's get the chat window over here so I can see what's going on. Kirk Holland. There's Bash. Vader time. Appropriately, right after somebody asked where Bash is. We got Baki in there. Zombie. Dogzilla. Logan. RKO Figs and Bako B. Oh, I'm guessing they're... Okay, yeah. So this is the How Was Rite of Passage edition. And they seem to think it's good. Burnout Inc. Hey, yo. What's going on? Let me tell you. Happy to have put up now both parts of Rite of Passage in the span of about 3 weeks? Something like that? 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember. But, yeah, man. You tell me now. Was that the way to do it? Just have one match and then a couple weeks and then the other match? Or did people prefer waiting for me to like go back and do an entire match and edit it all and then do it like months later? Or sometimes years later. Those of us that remember Collision. Well, regardless. I will say that Rite of Passage seems like it's been getting some mostly positive feedback. So I'm happy for that. Seems like people are liking it. I enjoyed making it. I look at it as the best wrestling animation I've done on this channel. This is the culmination of, I like to call this phase 1 of the JWF extended universe that encapsulates everything from One Night Only all the way up to Rite of Passage. Yeah, sure, there's like the ladder match and stuff before it, but that's kind of a more loose continuity, you know what I'm saying? That it fits in, but it's just kind of tougher to work it all in. Let's see. Who's that popping out the floor? REO Mysterio. Here we. It's stream time. What do we got here? The wait, the build up, the hype. It was amazing no matter what. Thank you. The way I did Rite of Passage was great. Awesome. Okay, good. Crispy even. I thought Cap was wearing a turtleneck like 1995 Batman Forever Bruce Wayne for a second. No, this is just a little long sleeve thermal, but I should start popping those turtlenecks out so I can go to my psychiatrist's office and kick the door down. We talking Rite of Passage, Dylan? We were just touching on it. Now that we've had some time, like, which match was better? What did people like? What did people get into with Rite of Passage? My chair's crooked. That's why I'm fidgeting around so much here. It's a little better. Let's see. Do I drive the car that Big Boss Man used to pull the coffin from Big Show's dad's funeral? Isn't that like the Bluesmobile, basically? No, I don't. Although, probably would. I'd rock it. Give it a shot. Let's see. Baki just picked up DB Fighter Z on the Switch, and it's stunning. I have it on PS4, and yeah, it's an awesome looking game. It's a lot of fun, actually. I haven't played a ton of it, but when I did get the chance to sit down and play there's a couple nights here and there where I messed with it, and it's a lot of fun, especially if you're doing like the story, like the, what do they call it, like those ladder challenges that you can do. That's a good way to get money and like unlock all the stuff on the main hub. That was awesome. Taker vs. Sting was my favorite since we never got that in real life. Yeah, I think that's long term going to be the one that does better on YouTube, because people are going to just be more interested in something that they never got, as opposed to like, you know, Michaels and Jericho have had matches before, but let's see. Surprised with the outcome of HBK versus Jericho. Really? Well, I mean, it's I thought it was the right thing to do. I don't want to spoil it, just in case anybody hasn't seen it. I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know. I thought it might have been just time for that thing to happen. Let's see. I missed something. Excited for the other projects I got coming? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I got a couple on the table now. Like a few. One has been on my mind for quite a long time, and another one has been something that I came up with a little more recently, but that's kind of what I want to try next. It's a little more user friendly, or well, I don't know about user friendly, but a little more interactive, I think. So I want to try it, see if it works, and if it doesn't, then I'll just move on to the next project. Who cares? Let's see. Joe's Amiga thinks Jericho and Michaels was the better match. Very nice. Cool. Taker and Sting was amazing, but the main event was much better, says Space Case. Nice. Okay. You tell a story. It is reminiscent of the glory days of wrestling. Your technique of stop motion gets better every project. Thank you, Kirk. You know, I'm not big up in myself here, but I definitely agree with Kirk when he says that, because when I was doing like those promo videos and going back and watching like some of the old animation, I'm just like, oh man, like I would have done that differently if I was doing it today. Yo, boy, War, hey yo. Felt like playing a wrestling game today. Haven't bought one in years. Looked for WWE 16 because it had a lot of Attitude Era stuff, but my local GameStop had it not. That's weird though. I mean, you would figure like, I'm trying to think where else. Like a lot of places that sell like used old games, like all those sports ones, it seems like they all have, because like the ones that come out every year are the ones that people are like just trading in constantly, and then they're selling them for like $4 because everybody's going for the newest one. Which one would I had 14 on PS3, and it wasn't bad. It was the one where you played through like all the WrestleMania main events, so you had to like do certain things in the order that they happened in the match. So like when you were doing, let's say, Rock and Austin at 15, you had to fight up the ramp and on the stage the way they did, and then go back in the ring and do the moves. Like it prompts you to do all this stuff, so it's interesting. It's not bad. I just still want an updated version of No Mercy with like all the legends, all the WCW guys, all the modern roster. Get them all in there. Let's see. Love Taker versus Sting. Thought it was a bit better, but not by much. Michaels versus Jericho was dope. Thank you, Burnout Inc. Excellent. It seems like they're pretty neck and neck, actually. I personally, if I was to pick, I think Jericho and Michaels was probably the better match, but Undertaker and Sting was like the bigger spectacle that like people like, you know, was pointed out before, like people never got that, so it's a little more interesting maybe to watch. And plus, like when I was filming it, I was looking at parts of it and I was like, nah, I gotta add something here, and then I wound up like adding in like entire chunks of like stuff that was happening, so I think that improved that match a lot, because I was trying to one up Michaels and Jericho because I had filmed that one first. So I don't know. I'm just glad people are liking it, and I'm eventually gonna load the full show up on YouTube at some point. Probably no time immediately because I want to give the individual matches a little room to breathe. But hey, it's coming. Is Kurt Angle coming back? I mean, eventually, whenever JWF comes back. Dylan says, love how you present JWF. It's definitely different than anything out there. I haven't seen anyone do an Attitude Era style federation, and it's amazing. Love your presentation. Well, thank you. Really appreciate that. Low key, looks like Commissioner Sean with that sweater. That's what I'm going for. I need to get like the brown jacket and then get fired. Y2J is your boy War's personal favorite. Nice. Is it me, or does no one show any love for the OG SVR? I can't remember which SmackDown vs. Raw I had. I think it was like 07 maybe on PS2. I was actually just thinking about this today because I had SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, which I really liked, and then I got one of the SmackDown vs. Raw games, like this, whichever one this was, and me and my friend were trying to play through it, but they changed a lot of stuff about it. So I was doing this. We picked Mick Foley to be who we were throughout our career, and we got to this ladder match where we had to fight JBL, and we just couldn't beat him. And one time I had him down on the mat, I was up on top of the ladder, and then it just cuts to like a animation of JBL now suddenly up on top of the ladder suplexing Mick Foley off, and I'm just like, what is this? Like, I'm done. I'm finished with this. The only thing missing from Jericho versus Michaels was HBK humping a Canadian flag and sticking it up his nose. That, if I had thought of that, probably would have been in there. Because I have that Canadian flag that came with the Brett figure, the defining moments. Yeah, that... Man, there needs to be a director's cut now. That's all it is. Dylan Oliver, what's up? Bash G2G, boys. Dinner time. Just want to stick my head and say hello. I appreciate the kind words. Right here on the USA Network. Thank you for watching Rite of Passage. Awesome. Machine Dragon Nero reporting in. Oh, we're doing good, man. Just talking about the last couple videos I put up, and let's see. Answering, as I'm reading the question here. Joseph Miga asked up above, do I ever improvise things while animating? Usually I have it all written down ahead of time, because I like to try and follow a sequence, but sometimes I do. If I think something might not work the way I want it to, I'm like, well, what can I change to make it different or to make a similar outcome happen? And I'm trying to, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but wait, okay, no. If you watched Sean and Jericho on One Night Only, or not One Night Only, Rite of Passage, there's the exchange where Jericho backdrops Sean and he lands on his feet. I was going to have something different happen, and Sean wound up getting him into a pinning spot, but I was like, no, it wasn't working. The figures just don't articulate that way. So instead, I had him do the backdrop, and Sean swept the legs and rolled over for a quick pin. Got the same desired effect, but it just wasn't exactly what I had written. So it was a little bit of improv. Logan Dottie is... Oh, 2K16 was the best, according to some people. All right, nice. I already have tickets for Endgame, and I'm seeing it the day when it comes out. Nice. Yeah, see, after I get off the stream here tonight, I'm going to probably lock in my tickets for... I don't know about the Thursday, because they're going to show a couple shows late Thursday night. But I'm definitely going to try and get in there on Friday. Because I don't want too much... I didn't want to risk having it spoiled by not going soon enough. So, I'm going to be doing that. How do I write my matches down? Do I have a specific formula you follow? When I used to do certain things, I would start with a list of some of the guys' signature moves. So back when I was doing Warzone, for example, I would have both wrestlers, and then I write a few of their moves down underneath it, and I'm like, okay, so what can I pair together here? What works with each other, and what can I connect, and what, just kind of go with that. And then I would try and find ways to work those moves into a match and make it make sense. So when you were watching it, you would see oh, okay, that really is a move that this guy does, and that's really, it's a good, a good spot, I guess. I had 10 on the DS when I was 3. Oh, is that SmackDown vs. Raw? Nice. 6 p.m. Thursday for Endgame. Dylan's going. Nice. Harry Flynn, I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, honestly. So, probably the wrong guy to ask. What's funny about Royal Rumbles is that when there's a comeback in the Rumble, they never win. Didn't Cena come back and win that one at Madison Square Garden? When he entered at 30? And didn't Edge do the same thing? Unless I'm just totally misremembering things. Will we see a JWF Rumble ever? If so, don't die, please. I mean, I'm probably not going anywhere. Not that I know of. But a Rumble is something I've always wanted to try, but that's the type of thing where I would need a lot of time to do it. And I've got ideas. I wouldn't do a full 30-man Rumble. I would probably do 15 or something. But I could make it work. Cena and Edge came back and won. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, and Zombie knows. There we go. Let's see. Definitely helps me out. I always seem to have a problem remembering the moves of some guys. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTube compilations and stuff too. So for Rite of Passage, for example, with Sting, I went back and I watched some of his top moves compilations, and I went back and watched a bunch of his matches with guys like Flair and DDP and Bret Hart and some of these guys. So just so I can get a feel for a few of the moves that he would use and kind of how he would set them up. I should hire people to help out. I don't make any money, man, so I'm not paying somebody for that. let's see. One of my favorite signature moves he did was Kane doing the splash out of the ring. Kane would do that a lot in '97. Oh, we're I'm trying to remember when. When was that? Was that against The Rock on Warzone? It's going way back. Let's see. Baki just picked up a 6-figure for $9.99. They had Warrior, Howard Finkel, and Yokozuna. Okay, nice. I went into the local spot that sells figures around me today, and I saw some of the nicer stuff that's come out recently, and I was actually looking at like some of the Seth Rollins figures. I was like, yeah, I could use a new one. I mean, maybe just something. And then I remembered, I'm like, I already got too many wrestling figures that I don't use in a bin. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna like start selling some of them a little bit, the ones I never use, or if I'm gonna just try and maybe do something more with them. I don't know. I do, but I just spent it on NECA and Ninja Turtles. Yeah, well, I mean, I am guilty of spending a lot of money on my my action figure hobbies. Speaking of that very same concept, what did I do here? Not that anyone in this chat probably cares, but I did get my Beast Wars Optimus Primal. Yeah, he's pretty slick. Looks, for the most part, you can't see much in the way of robot stuff on him, unless you look at the back of the legs, and it's obviously got like robot parts behind him. But I don't know. I like him. And that's dangerous because that means I'm probably going to buy more of these, and they are quite costly. So there's another reason why I can't afford to hire help for JWF. Adriana Delgado says, what's next for HBK for JWF? I don't know. I don't know what's next for JWF at all, honestly. Like I said before, this is like the end of everything that I've been building up to was Rite of Passage. So now I got to like come up with some new stuff. I thought about like fast forwarding a little bit whenever I bring JWF back and just be like, okay, well, we're in the future a little ways now. Some time has passed and maybe some new guys showed up. Maybe some different things have happened. I mean, I don't know how many people caught the Easter egg at the end of One Night, or I keep saying that, at the end of Rite of Passage. Don't spoil it if you did, but something big happened. Let's just put it that way. Is that a TMNT 2012 Metalhead? If so, solid figure for its price. Oh yeah, that's it. And in fact, it is, where is he? Yep, there he is. Yeah, I got him for $5. He was missing his little missile thing, but he was loose, just by himself, and I was like, cool, sold, let's do it. He fits in pretty good. I don't know if you've seen the Reveltech Ninja Turtles from the 2012 show, but he looks pretty good with them. Like, he's a good size, and he fits in, looks cool with them displayed. Dylan, that Easter egg was beautiful. Thank you. I'm glad people were into that. Let's see. Do I have a new pay-per-view coming? I don't have any wrestling planned for the immediate future. That's why if you watch the beginning of the Shawn Michaels and Jericho video, I basically explained, I'm like, listen, this is gonna go away for a little while. Got some other things I wanna do, and if you know anything about JWF, if you watch this channel for a long time, it goes away for a while, and then it comes back, and every time it comes back, people seem to like it better than they did before. So I'm hoping that's the case this time. Do I ever have trouble maintaining my ponytail? I never really do. No, I mean, my hair is pretty manageable, I must say. Your boy War. Since it's more or less JWF Season 2, it should start with One Night Only 2. I'd have to change the name a little bit, but it's not a bad idea. Like some kind of follow-up to One Night Only, 2 Nights Only, or something. Is Godzilla going to return to your channel? I would very much like that to be something that I do, yeah. I've been planning a follow-up to Aftermath for pretty much since the end of Aftermath, actually. So I just got to make the time to do it. And now, since I've been using my new software and some of my new equipment and stuff, I think would be a good time maybe to start thinking about that again. I do have one big project that I want to do, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. A little more ambitious, but if it's done correctly, if it's done the way that I want to do it, I think it'll be awesome, and I think people will generally kind of get into it. So after that, though, I might just jump into the Godzilla Aftermath follow-up. I'm going to come up with a good name, but, that's down the line a little ways. Batman slaps everyone all the time. That's my next theory. Just invades JWF. Josh Marriott asks, would I use Pete Dunne for JWF? I don't know enough about Pete Dunne to really have an answer for you, but I mean, if I happen to see him on some matches and I like what he does, I don't see why I wouldn't. Is there more Dragon Ball Z stop motion? Because that was awesome. Well, thank you, Crew of Gaming. That's something that I've thought about. Just doing like quick little Dragon Ball Z like clips, basically, like kind of like the Mr. Satan one, where it was like, you know, less than 90 seconds, but it was fun for me to make. People enjoyed it. I wouldn't be against it. Josh Marriott says, do I think Brian Pillman deserves a Hall of Fame induction? Yeah, I'd say yes. Because, I mean, he did a lot for wrestling in a relatively short time. He's definitely controversial enough to be put where, you know, in the Hall of Fame. I don't see why not. Your boy War. I got it. JWF, the second night only. The Wrath of Raven's spooky briefcase. Oh, your boy War. I'm sorry. Raven's briefcase is forever ruined. Godzilla Mega Return. After Meth. Yeah, there we go. Will we ever see Tiger Pro? Oh, Super Tiger? I don't see why I wouldn't. Super Tiger is something now that I would be able to do like another cross-promotional thing. Hell, if I felt like even doing wrestling but I didn't have a JWF story, I could just do a Super Tiger thing. Do like a little 5-minute video of like, and here's what's going on in Japan. There's some guys you never seen on JWF are fighting. Here's why. Crew of Gaming, I would love to make a Mortal Kombat stop motion. I mean, I got all the figures, so yeah, I'd be down. What else we got here? I saw somebody give us a hint of the future, says Joseph Miga. Well, I mean, just keep an eye on my social medias. You'll see it. Machine Dragon Nero says Dinobot is the best. There is a Dinobot figure that I've got my eye on, and he's pretty costly. So I'm like, I know I'm probably going to get it, and I'm just kicking myself. Just so mad that I'm spending all this money. But at the same time, I got some sweet stuff, so I can't really be all that mad at it. Scorpion versus Cell, yeah. Let's see. Dylan says, with JWF going away, any projects you can reveal? I've been waiting for that MK animation and series for a year or two. I'm sorry, man. I've been busy. But I would love to do Mortal Kombat. So, you know what? Keep your eyes on the channel. You might see something you like. WWE Figure Fight says hi. Hello. Did I play WrestleMania, the arcade game? Liam O'Neill, what's up? I don't think I ever played it. Is that the one with like Boss Man and Earthquake and $1 Million Man and like all those guys in it? Because if so, there's actually an arcade cabinet in that store I was just talking about where they got all the wrestling figures and like some of the Marvel stuff. Oh, speaking of, went in there today and they said they're going to be getting like 10 cases of the Marvel Legends like X-Men wave. So he says like just keep an eye on Facebook, and when you see that we got them in, just comment that you want a case and we'll set it aside. I'm like, there it is. So when that happens, I'm going to go get my X-Men set. I don't know how much it's going to be. They're probably going to cost me a little bit more than something like Target because they're like a smaller like local business. So, you know, I might have to eat that cost, but at the same time, I'll have them all and I won't have to worry about it. No, that was WrestleFest. Oh, okay. You might be right. Did I ever watch Samurai Jack? I've seen it. I've only seen like a handful of Samurai Jack episodes, like the early ones. So, I mean, it wasn't really something I was that interested in at the time. Looks like I need some therapy. Yeah, you're probably right about that in a lot more ways than just buying figures. Crew of Gaming, been watching since 2013. Oh, okay, so that would have been right about the beginning of One Night Only then, if I'm remembering my times correctly. Whenever I get back to JWF, what matches do I want to do? That's a good question. I mean, Undertaker versus Sting was a big one, and I finally got to do that, and I'm happy that people so far have really liked it. You know, it's tough. Maybe I'd revisit Bret Hart and Kurt Angle, since that, you know, That could be what starts off phase 2 of the JWF extended universe. I don't know, maybe. Your boy War. I am a madman. Hi. Haha. Dylan says, good to support local business. Good to keep them around for the future. Has it really been 6 years since One Night Only? I was just talking about this with... I forget exactly where. I think I might have been somebody on YouTube or something. But, like, my videos aren't meant to pass, like, in real time. So, like, JWF probably, like, since One Night Only until Rite of Passage. One of these days I'll get all my names and my stuff right. I figure that's maybe, like, 3 or 4 months have passed in there. And that gives them time to do Collision, and then the holiday show and the Super Tiger thing happen around the same time. And then we lead into Rite of Passage. So, like, if you look at everything that JWF has done on YouTube, that's probably, like, less than, like, 7 months worth of, like, actual stuff that you would have seen on there. So, I don't know. But in real time, yeah, it's definitely been more than, like, it's been, like, 6 years since One Night Only. Let's see. Any plans that I want to reveal about the Aftermath follow-up? Well, I mean, if you watch the end of Aftermath, you know Mechagodzilla's there, so he's going to most likely be the antagonist, going to be getting involved. I'd expect to see many of the same characters from Aftermath. I don't want to say too much more about it, because I do have a story kind of mostly in mind. Some interesting things that I've never done before, so we'll try that. Where was Jean Grey in X-Men Brotherhood? Has she already been turned into the Phoenix? I don't know. I just figure it's such a safe bet that Jean Grey's probably dead in any story that I just was like, I'm not going to complicate my story. Let's just keep her off the table for now. Dylan just can't believe it's actually been 6 years. 6 years since that show. Feels like it just came out last year. I mean, yeah, it's been a long time. And I actually feel that, too, that it's like, seems like I was working on that a lot more recently than I was. Maybe it's just all my memories blending together for all the wrestling stuff, but I can remember showing people One Night Only, because I went to New York Comic Con that year for the first year. And, you know, meeting some friends and showing them what I had made so far of One Night Only, which at that point was just, I think, a little bit of Hagar and Triple H might be the only match that I made at that point so far. Yeah, because I went back and I did Mankind versus Raven, and like I was always just doing it out of order so that I could post it kind of like I did with Rite of Passage, where it was like one match here and then a little while later it was the next one and all that. But yeah, so that was Comic-Con of 2012 that I was making that, which crazy, long time ago. Dylan, have a good night. Thoughts on MK11? I'll tell you next week, because Tuesday, I'm going to be in there playing it the whole day, probably, so I'm excited. Who had the better ankle lock, Kurt Angle or Ken Shamrock? I mean, they were slightly different. Kurt Angle stood up a lot of the time during his, and Ken Shamrock kind of like kneeled down to the mat, so it's just aesthetic preference, really. Let's see. I see people spoiling the Easter egg. Oh, come on, man. They got to find that. Will we ever see an NXT-style sub-promotion in JWF with some newer guys? That's kind of what Super Tiger is, honestly. Like, I'm not going to be calling people up to the main JWF roster because the frequency with which I do JWF, it's not going to be worth it. Like, Super Tiger is my way of showing, like, newer guys plus guys that you just don't see on JWF. So, like, Hall and Nash, Hogan, like, guys like that. Will Kane ever take his mask off? I don't have plans to have him do that, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. Like, I don't mind Kane without his mask. I prefer the original kind of Kane, so the one you see on JWF is probably my favorite version of Kane. Like, the really early, you know, indestructible monster Kane. Your boy War wants to see JWF toughen up. I'll just get figures of like just random people and then have like Triple H come and tell them that they're doing something wrong. Tough enough. Is that even still happening? Is that still, and if it is still happening, is it the same show as like the early seasons? Remake fake Kane versus real Kane. Listen, any of those like mirror match type things, like Undertaker versus Undertaker, Kane versus Kane, like all those sort of, they had some disastrous elements, didn't they? What was I just watching? I can't think of it off the top of my head. I will say though, I have done like motorcycle Undertaker versus like old dead man Undertaker, and that was one of the ones that I made for WWE way back in the day. I don't think they ever put it live on their YouTube channel though. I believe it was one of these streams though. I did show it, and then I got immediately like copyright blocked for that. So I was like, well, can't be doing that, I guess. Adriana, oh, you got to find that Easter egg is all I'm saying. Crew of Gaming, will the team of Kane and Mankind will turn on each other? I like them as a team, but Kane is a huge monster, and Mankind is one of like several personalities that Mick Foley has. So I wouldn't put it past seeing them fight. Matter of fact, the first time we ever saw them both on JWF, they were in a cage match together before Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. So I don't see why they wouldn't. But I still need to do Joe versus Hagar, screaming Japanese, hardcore, steel cage, barbed wire, explosive death match. Let's see. It's a shame that the Bret and Owen cage match was under that real Undertaker versus real... Oh, that real match of Undertaker versus Undertaker. It's something else. Yeah, like, sometimes WWE just doesn't know what they have. Just find some knockoff wrestlers and dollar store action figures. William Rush, what's going on? Welcome. Let's see. 01 to 03 Kane, according to your boy War, is the best Kane. No Tough Enough is long gone. Last one was 2015, and we got Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose out of it. Oh, okay. Well, at least they're still wrestling. Like, most of the Tough Enough winners came and went pretty quick. Let me see if I can remember. Well, The Miz was The Real World, right? That's whatever show he was on, and then he wound up wrestling. So they weren't like connected to WWE. He just happened to also be on another one of those shows. Is the Easter egg at the end of the video? Yes, at the end of Undertaker, or no, at the end of Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho. Let's see. The Rite of Passage was fun, also an inspiration. Zeke first, thank you. Joseph Miga, I meant to say fake Undertaker. I think, yeah, I got what you were talking about. It just was weird. Have you thought of Mick Foley change characters? Well, you can't think of Mick Foley without thinking of that. He's got so many distinct characters. Don't forget Maven. Yeah. Maven. From what I heard about him is like if you see him today and ask him if he's the same guy, he'll tell you no. He'll be like, that wasn't me. No. Let's see. Thoughts on X-Pac? I like him. He's one of those guys that was always really entertaining to watch because he was like quick and he was like always having good matches, honestly, like from what I can recall. Like he was always having like, it was usually for like the European title or something, so it wasn't like the most important matches on the show, but he was always good in them. And it was like him and like D'Lo a lot of the time or somebody like that. And then he did his thing with Kane, which was also really good for most of it. So yeah, I mean, X-Pac is good, and I don't understand why people today will tell you that he was terrible and that he was trash and that he sucks. I'm like, yeah, he played a bad guy character that you booed, but he wasn't bad in the ring. When Maven eliminated The Undertaker from that Royal Rumble. Yeah, I remember. I've been working on my animation because of you. Check out my Instagram to see MT_figs. Anybody want to go check out animation? Follow this guy. I gotta tag me in something you want me to watch, and I'll check it out. Remember the X Factor stable? Oh yes, yeah, I remember, with a stupid Uncle Cracker theme song. Awful. X-Pac was underrated. I think I agree. Yeah, my favorite Mechagodzilla version. I really love all of them. Like the first one, I think looks the coolest because it's just like all big and like bulky and pointed head, and like he had such ridiculous weapons like missiles out of his fingers and knees and lightning bolts and eye lasers and like all of it. The second one was cool. It was like streamlined, like much rounder looking, much more like high tech as opposed to like the '70s one, which was kind of like a silly robot. And the third one kind of made the most of all of it. I don't know, just took elements from both and made it work. Let's see. Have you ever considered a JWF European Hardcore or Cruiserweight Championship? I only have one championship for the past however long because I don't have enough time to do like multiple divisions. So that's kind of why I stayed away from too many belts. Tag belts are another story. Like I can do something like that, but I don't know. Baki, taking off. All right. Vader time. Have I thought of having a street fight on JWF with different public dioramas? I don't know. Because, like, I don't know about different dioramas. If I did a street fight, I would do just, like, a hardcore match inside the arena. Like, what they call the street fights a lot of the time on TV. I don't know. I got the cage in there for WrestleMania, the WrestleMania 2 ring I have, the big blue cage. I would do something with that, maybe. Like, if I felt inclined. Maybe, like, Brett versus Kurt 2 would be in a cage. I don't know. Actually, that's not a bad idea. You heard it here first on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Kaimo Films, what's up? We're just talking about the last couple videos we got. I was dropping a little bit of hints on stuff that's coming up in the future. You'll be happy to know that I'm going to be hopefully doing some kind of Godzilla videos in the future. So, excited to do that again. If you ever animate with Bret Hart, you got to make him do the figure 4 around the ring post. Joseph Miga, when did he do that? He did that in the Kurt Angle match. I'm talking about with my videos. He did it to Kurt Angle. I can't remember if he did it to... Oh, he did it to Daniel Bryan, definitely, at the holiday show. Yeah, I love that ring post figure 4. Will JWF ever have a super show, like where you have a mega stacked card? That's pretty much what Rite of Passage was for me. Like, you had your title defense, you had Undertaker versus Sting, which is the one match everybody's been wanting to see since Collision. So, I don't know. Like, I wonder what kind of time it would take me to actually do like a multi-match show like that. I wouldn't be able to tell anybody I was even doing it because then people would want me to rush and finish it, and that's just not how that's going to go. So I would have to be like just doing it completely in secret. Your how-to animate videos are very helpful, like how to walk, etc. Oh, well, good. I'm glad people are watching those. Have you ever thought about doing JWF videos full-time? Not JWF, but I wish I could animate full-time. Problem is, nobody's paying me for that, so, I still got to go to work, unfortunately. What's the JWF WrestleMania be called? Or what would it be called? I don't know. I never thought about having like a main show like that. Your boy War, yes, there was originally going to be a third match for Rite of Passage, but I don't want to reveal it because I might still go ahead and make it. But let's just say, it took me 6 months or so to make Rite of Passage from the start of when I first started filming, like in I don't know whenever that was, until finally we just got the main event like a week ago or less than a week ago. Keaton Carr 89. Did they ever make a half decent Bobby Heenan figure? I think there was one in a box set that came with like Andre and a couple other guys, and then I want to say there was one that was only a Toys R Us figure. So like I didn't ever see that one honestly, but yeah, I think we have two. Zombie for your WrestleMania, use Final Destination. That sounds like a TNA show. Is that also a TNA event? Or am I thinking of Final Deletion? I don't know. The collision of the right of the one night only passage. Yeah, well, you know what? Sure, let's do that. The Target box set Heenan is great, says your boy War. That's the one I'm thinking of with the white like suit, right? That one was pretty good. I wish I had gotten that set because I don't have a good Andre either. And that would just be a cool figure to have. Frederick, I would love to donate to help you do more JWF videos. Well, I appreciate that. And if you insist, I think there's a super chat thing here. But Like I said in Rite of Passage, I'm putting JWF away for a little while so I can come back to it fresh and with new ideas and better stuff. So, I mean, I would say don't worry about it. I do appreciate that, though. I watched the video on pro wrestling you suggested that week, and it's really interesting and cool. That's a really good video, yeah. And whether you walk away thinking like, well, okay, this is cool now, I'm more into it, then great. But he came from a perspective of I'm not trying to tell people they should be wrestling fans. I'm just trying to explain why people think it's so fascinating or interesting. And it seems to me like it worked, because you can now, maybe you still don't care about it, but you can understand why other people do. And yeah, really, I mean, that's all it is. McKay Patreon isn't a horrible idea. Oh well, I mean, I've thought of it, but what would I even do? On Patreon, streams like this would be the only thing I could offer, and you get them for free every week. So unless you want me to go out there and play No Mercy or something for an extra hour every Wednesday. Frederick Shoot. Oh, well, thank you. It's really awesome. I appreciate it. Should be a creative writer for WWE. Jesus Christ, they need you. See, I haven't watched WWE programming regularly in a long time, but maybe that speaks to what you're saying. It just doesn't hold my interest that much. Not that I think the matches themselves are bad for the most part, but I can watch one or two matches now and be totally fine, be content. Let's see. Will I consider getting, this is Zekeverse, the McFarlane Mortal Kombat figures in the future? I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they look like. I know they're going to be based on the new designs, and I'm cool with that. If they're good figures, yeah, I'll definitely buy them. What is it? Storm is doing all the classic designs, so it'll be cool to have a different company doing the modern stuff, so I can have, just two separate looks for every character. Finished season 1 of One Punch Man. It's dope. I've had people recommend that to me. I might actually have to check it out. The Dark Side of the Ring doc is on Viceland tonight. It's about the Montreal Screwjob. Dark Side of the Ring. Is that a series, or is that just its own thing on the Montreal Screwjob? Joseph Miga. Did I hear about the War Raiders being renamed the Viking Experience? Yes. And why? Everybody already knows who they are if they're big wrestling fans who watch NXT and everything, so I don't know why we've changed so many things. Zombie, they're on Big Bad Toy Store for pre-order. Yeah, but they don't, last I knew, they didn't show what the actual figures look like. They show the character models, but they didn't give you actual pictures of the real figures. I mentioned it last week. It's a mini-series. Oh, okay, cool. For some reason, I guess I thought I was confusing it with what did I see? Is it A&E or one of these channels is doing little biographies on certain wrestlers? There's a Stone Cold one supposedly, a Roddy Piper one, one or two of these other ones. I saw it posted. Somebody posted about it. Kaimo Films. It's mindless fun, totally worth your time. It's short enough you can binge the whole thing. Okay, nice. Ever consider a Discord? No. I'm a part of one Discord. It's just the ACBA Discord that I'm I'm subscribed to, I guess. I don't even know what the terms are, but I don't use it enough to really make it worthwhile. I have it on my phone, and every now and then I'll pop in and see what people are doing, but I'm not I don't know, I guess I'm just not heavy into running separate things. Last week was about Macho and Elizabeth, and One Punch Man is amazing. Okay, nice. Yeah, see, I've heard nothing but solid recommendations from people telling me that I should check it out. Let's see, what did I say? McFarlane, it says Keaton Carr. McFarlane Toys doing UFC would be nice if Connor and Ronda were done. One thing, yeah, McFarlane's always done good with sports figures, and UFC would probably be no different. Problem is, the thing that I'm wondering about, and I think probably everybody's kind of wondering about with these McFarlane Mortal Kombat figures, is articulation. Now, if they were doing UFC and just had them in kind of static poses for the most part, they'd look amazing, but you probably wouldn't get much posability out of them. So I don't know. I do want to see what McFarlane does with their at Scorpion and Sub-Zero, the first two figures, because of course that's every Mortal Kombat line out the gate, their first figures. The card of videos. Hey buddy, what's up? What else do we see here? Joseph Miga says, it seems like a new company get the license every new game. Oh, for Mortal Kombat? Yeah, because Mezco had it for MKX. Jazzwares had it for MK9. It's been... Well, Jazzwares had it for a while. Yeah, because they had it from, like, Deception and Deadly Alliance and, like, a lot of those games. Because I remember those figures actually were pretty good for their time. But the MK9 ones just weren't. And I think it was Burnout Inc. was telling me that the Mezco ones, they looked really good, but they weren't really that posable, and you couldn't do much with them. So I wound up passing on all those, even though there were some of the characters I really liked, like Quan Chi and Katana looked good. But, you know, if I can't do much with them, then there's nothing really for me to buy them for, you know? McFarlane has learned their lesson in articulation since Fortnite figures. I am thinking that that's kind of what they want people to believe and like go forward and do that kind of articulation, because a lot of people who have not been fans of McFarlane in the past are swearing by these Fortnite figures and say like they're actually really good and they're really fun to pose around. And I'm just like, well, good. McFarlane has probably learned the error of their ways and just stop being so stubborn to make their figures like able to move, which I don't see why that's ever been something that they just are afraid to do. But they're so into their sculpt work, and don't get me wrong, their figures look amazing, but again, I like my figures to move. Machine Dragon Nero, I'm sorry to hear that your family is pissing you off, but you know, hey, if you gotta go, you gotta go. We'll be back next week. Will there be like a Monday night war between Super Tiger Pro and JWF? I doubt it. Super Tiger is basically just going to be there so that I can show other wrestlers that I don't use on JWF and occasionally do a crossover if I need a crossover to happen. Let's see. I finished my speed drawing of Kong. It's not as good as my Mothra drawing, but I'm happy enough with it to post it. Definitely will redraw it later on down the line. Okay, nice. You finished the drawing or the video? I gotta check it out. Carter Video says Fortnite sucks. I played it like once. It's okay. It's not something I'm gonna sit there and spend all night with. And you know, I understand why other people like it, but yeah, this is not something I'm that interested in. Imagine new Spawn figures with Fortnite articulation. That's a lot of people are like hoping that a Spawn figure comes out that's like posable. Like, have they ever made like one really good posable Spawn figure? Like, a lot of people would be all over that. It's like those Movie Massacre figures from back in the day. I believe that's what mine was called. It's basically statues. Movie Maniacs, is that the one? Yeah, because that was like their horror line. See, before NECA was doing all the horror movie figures, McFarlane had it. And so, actually, my friend was collecting a bunch of those. So he had Freddy and Jason and the Scream Ghostface Killer and like Michael Myers and some of these guys. And I had the Terminator, but they couldn't get the rights to Arnold Schwarzenegger's face, so they just had like most of his face shredded off and had the metal skeleton underneath. So it was okay. It wasn't a bad figure, but like we just said, you know, he was posed like this with his guns, and if he moved his arms, like it would move like that, but it wouldn't go like down to the side or anything like that. And, you know, McFarlane, they're crazy. My dad had a bunch of the ones from The Thing, the Kurt Russell movie, and they looked cool, but they weren't moving. But that was fine with my dad because he was just putting them on the shelf. He didn't care. I really enjoyed Rite of Passage so much. Can't wait to see what other projects you have in mind to bring to the channel. Thank you, TJ Lycan. I appreciate it. Zeke first. Any tips on doing special effects on stop motion? I don't really know, actually. Depends on what kind of special effect you're trying to do. Most times YouTube will have a pretty good tutorial. NECA exists because employees weren't allowed to add articulation. Really? That makes a lot of sense. I mean, NECA's articulation has improved a lot lately. Theirs didn't used to be amazing, but honestly, NECA does a good job for the figures that they do. As you see, I've got all their Ninja Turtles back there, and these Ninja Turtles here are like probably 12 years old now, but they still hold up. And you know, I've got a few of the Terminator figures and one or two of the other NECA figures that have come out, and I do like them, so they're doing fine. The card of videos. I have a big feeling Godzilla's gonna die next year. With the Kong versus Godzilla movie? I don't know. Like, it seems like that series is just going to continue trying to make money. So if you kill your main character, you can't really do that. Do you watch independent wrestling? No, not really. I've seen some matches here and there, but I'm not even a guy that follows pro wrestling like that. But I'm a fan of the stuff that I watched when I was younger, but I'm not like following indie wrestling right now or anything like that. So I couldn't tell you like who's the best guy in who's unsigned or anything like that, you know. Joseph Miga, did I enjoy Secret of the Ooze and Turtles 3? Yes. Well, yes for Secret of the Ooze and not really for Turtles 3, because Secret of the Ooze came out, I was like the perfect age to be like all into the Turtles, and I thought they were great. And you know, the second movie was like more fun and silly, which is like the cartoon, which is why I probably watched it more. But then like Turtles 3 took a little while to come out. I think it was like 2 years, and by then I had grown, you know, from age like, I don't know, 7 to let's say like 9. And so, you know, a lot changes in those couple of formative years. So I wasn't really as into Turtles 3 when it came out. Plus, it just wasn't as good of a movie. So, you know. Ray S. You gonna cop those MF and Hasbro Rangers? White Ranger and Zed are locked for me, and they actually look better than Figuarts. They look amazing. I was never a Power Rangers fan, so it'd almost be like wasted on me. But I'm with you. Those figures do look great. Dogzilla says NECA's Godzilla 1962 is great. Yeah, I agree. The only reason I don't have it is I just haven't seen it at Target yet. But when I do, it's a lock. Kaimo says the effects aren't the most important part. You have to know how to use the editing software. If you know how to use it, you can do a lot with a little. Yeah, I agree. There was a decent articulated Spawn figure that Shartimus Prime review. Spawn 10th anniversary figure, said Zekeverse. Okay, see, I didn't see that one. Dogzilla said, in long, be Godzilla, I bet. End the series there. Godzilla will kill Kong, but Mechagodzilla will finish off Godzilla. That'd be interesting. The director said only one is going to live. Really? That seems weird. Adriano and Delgado can't find the Easter egg. The end of the match, which is the very end. I don't know. It's in there. Trust me. I put it there because other people have seen it. Godzilla's movie trilogy is over, and Kong only had one movie so far. Well, I mean, Kong, yeah, it's going to be a crossover movie with Godzilla is going to be his next one, but... Ray S. says, where do I fall on Marvel Legends these days? Big X-Men collector, and very seldom do I buy any of the other ones. I don't think they're bad, I'm just an X-Men guy, so I'm not buying the movie figures. I'm not buying, like, the Spider-Man waves or anything like that, even though I do like how some of the figures look. I just know I'm never going to do anything with them, so I'll leave them on the shelf and let somebody who's really into it get it. X-Men, though, I'm going to just move a camera view a little bit here. You can see on the top shelf there, past the light, I got all the X-Men set up. I mean, that's not all of them. There's a bunch of them that I still have to either find room for or figure out what I want to do. But, yeah, I got my shelf of X-Men up there, too. Got my Mafex Cyclops on pre-order. Got, the Revoltech ones here behind me, except Magneto, because I still don't have a good cape for him. Ray S., am I hunting for the new wave? I've looked, but I went into a local place today that's going to be, like, getting cases in, and I just told them, like, hey, when you get them, set one aside, I will buy it. Let's see, best to camera wrestler. Oh, best to a camera promo cutter has to be Jake Roberts. The guy was good. I mean, he was really good. The director said there will be a definitive winner. That might mean both survive. Yeah, I think they're trying to avoid the whole thing, like, where there was, for the longest time, there was, like, rumors about the original King Kong versus Godzilla, where, like, there were different versions of the movie, and, like, certain movies had Godzilla winning, and other movies had Kong winning, and, like, I don't think that's true at all. I'm pretty sure that was proven to be fake. So, I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to avoid that. If you took away all the fighting from Power Rangers, it'd just be a shittier version of Saved by the Bell. Oh, yeah. Well, if you just let the American scenes be what they were and didn't actually use any of the Japanese, like, Zoo Ranger series footage, you basically have Saved by the Bell, yeah. I'm saving up for another Revoltech Paragon. The figure is great. It looks really good. And their Anguirus actually looks pretty good too. Matter of fact, their Gigan, like every figure they've done looks good. But if I was to get a Revoltech, I'd probably go for Paragon as well. Because Anguirus might be a little small for like the Monster Art stuff. Mothra looks great though. I do like the way that Mothra looks. It just makes me wonder, like, and the Rodan was pretty nice too. It makes me wonder why they haven't made, like, why Monster Arts hasn't made a proper Anguirus figure. Like, that's like Godzilla's, like, ride or die pretty much in those movies, or his number one adversary, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, like, he's the only one that just hasn't had that figure made, and he's like one of Godzilla's most essential, like, side characters. Crew of Gaming, where did I get the Hulk toy from? Which Hulk? What am I thinking? Is there one that I'm missing in the shot? Zach Morris as the Red Ranger. Yeah. McFarlane Toys would do amazing Gotcha Man figures with articulation. I don't think I know what that franchise is, so I'm going to just have to take your word for it. Oh, wait a minute. Crew of Gaming. Are you talking about the Incredible Hulk, or are you talking about that Hulk Hogan I got on the shelf? Because depending on if you mean the Hogan, he came from Ringside Collectibles. That's a Storm Collectibles version, and he's really good. I like him. So, just thinking, man. It's nice to have Rite of Passage behind me. It's nice to see people watching it and enjoying it, and let me know what they think. I like to think that both matches satisfied the audience, and as I saw and hear, everybody seemed to enjoy what they saw, so I'm big into it. Joseph Miga says, did I buy any of the Marvel Legends Face-Off 2-packs? Yeah, I had the Wolverine and Sabretooth one, and Wolverine broke pretty much immediately. Sabretooth is still pretty nice, though, for a first appearance Sabretooth. I have Daredevil and Kingpin, but I have the variant, so I have the black suit Kingpin, so it kind of looks more like the Netflix version, which I do like. And the Daredevil has his glasses on and, like, his mask pulled back, which always made me wonder. I'm like, did he just pull his mask back? Like, why was he wearing glasses underneath his mask? That makes no sense. But, whatever. But, yeah, so I had a couple of them. Dogzilla's about to work on a stop motion, and Gotcha Man was a Battle of the Planets. Okay, nice. Convo Films. There was no Anguirus in the Heisei series, or Heisei series, which was the most profitable series to make Godzilla figures from. That's just speculation, but that's my guess. Well, that explains why they went with, like, Fire Rodan instead of just, like, a basic standard Rodan. I mean, they've done a couple Millennium series figures now, but mostly Godzillas, and I think Mechagodzilla being maybe the only exception. Because, yeah, wow. Out of all the Millennium series figures they've made, most of them have been Godzillas, and if it isn't, it's pretty much just a Mechagodzilla, yeah? Wow. Crazy to think about. I would think, like, even if they were working with the newer versions of characters, though, like, you can make Final Wars. Like, Gigan had the Final Wars figure, so I guess there's one more Millennium figure. Anguirus could have a Final Wars figure. Throw friggin' King Caesar in there while we're at it. Anybody that showed up in Final Wars, give him a figure. Benoying Borange Gaming. Nice. I really love JWF. You're one of my inspirations. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And hopefully you enjoyed the newest couple JWF matches. They did two show of figures with a Mechagodzilla and a Godzilla. Showa is surprisingly underappreciated in the figure arts line. I mean, recently they finally started with the 54 Godzilla, the 62 Godzilla. They had the 64 Godzilla prior, and you got the 70s Mechagodzilla. But I would love to see Gigan from that era. I would love to see Megalon and Jet Jaguar. Those are the ones I really want. And of course, Anguirus. I know that people consider the face-off Captain America and Hulk figures the best of that character. I stand corrected. I had the Hulk and Leader set. I had the Leader with, like, the big round brain, not like the straight-up cranium. But I agree. I mean, that Hulk is kind of limited in his articulation because of how big and bulky he is, but he looks amazing. And he's still, I think, probably the best version of Hulk that is out there from the Legends line. I know there's a Figure Arts one that's really good right now, but as far as Legends Hulk goes, that might be my favorite one still. Let's see. If they make a 1975 Mechagodzilla, they should really remove the arm rings. Oh, is that like Terror of Mechagodzilla? Is that the one you're talking about? I want to see just him have his light bulb head underneath, like when he rips his head off. If they made a Jet Jaguar figure, would he be in your next Godzilla animation? I would find a way. Damn it. That's right. All right, so yeah, let's give it another couple minutes. See if people have any final thoughts to give to the old stream here as I fidget around in this chair. I think the problem is I put the chair too close to the table that I have the laptop on. So for me to just kind of like move takes like a whole thing. Can I make more JWF? I'm just not gonna do it immediately. Raul Flores, I look like Matt Jackson. I am the old buck, Captain McKay. Yeah, the young bucks are my younger brothers, and I taught them everything about wrestling, and they have gone to be super successful at wrestling and world renowned. And I am known all through the world for doing stop motion animation on YouTube. So I think we've all done pretty well for ourselves. Baragon is the best kaiju. Changed my mind. Giant Monster is all out attack. He kind of gets jobbed out. Kaimo Films. I think the biceps on the 74 are removable to put on MG2, like in Terror of Mechagodzilla. Okay, see, I don't have that figure. I like how it looks, but I just got to check it out. Jerry Springer's final thoughts. Gojira. Space Case. Do I still revisit classic matches? If so, which ones? Yeah, I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, but every now and then, if I'm listening to, like, let's say Something to Wrestle, the Bruce Pritchard podcast, they'll talk about a match from, like, the 90s that I maybe haven't seen in a while. I'm like, yeah, I remember that one being pretty good. I got to go back and check that out again. Is the Easter egg in the commentary? No, it's literally a thing that just says Easter egg right on the screen. Did I make the Rock theme? I made every theme you've heard on JWF since the full show of One Night Only or Collision went up has been mine. Yeah, because I just got tired of having a hassle with like WWE copyright blocking and all that stuff. Favorite match of all time? Tough question, but we'll end on this one. As you know, I'm a 90s guy, so Shawn and Undertaker at Hell in the Cell is great. Brett and Austin at Survivor Series is great. Brett and Austin at WrestleMania is great. Rock and Austin at Mania 17 and 19 are both really good. Rock and Austin at Backlash 99? Yeah, after Mania 15. Damn. There's a lot of Stone Cold in there. I just kind of realized that. Wow, yeah, those are just a few that I can throw out right now off the top of my head. All right. Oh yeah, Mind Games, definitely good. Okay, we've gone our time, ladies and gentlemen. Our session is now expired. As you know, I'll be here next week, same Vader time, same Captain channel. Please, if you go back and watch Rite of Passage, enjoy yourself and make me happy. Hit a little thumbs up button for me, just so people can say, hey, wow, that's a good video. Look at all those thumbs up. I've been Captain McKay. Thank you again for coming in and talking Rite of Passage with me, talking about Godzilla, talking about this and that and whatever. We will catch you down the road later on.